Hey guys, alright, so this is a trade that I sent in the group since week. I think it was around Thursday. Yes, so that was the 25th of February, and it is now continuing the downtrend. But alright, so most persons would have said, alright, this trade failed, but this trade did not fail, right? And I am going to show you guys why I say this trade did not fail, and I am gonna show you guys what I meant by adapting, right? So in the online course we'd have talked about adapting to the market, right, and moving with the trend. So we are gonna explain all of that in this breakdown of EURUSD. Alright guys, so this is it. Alright, this chart is basically in replay mode, so you guys can see step by step what took place on Friday, right, between Thursday and Friday. So as you guys can see, you guys know how I mark up my charts, so I always start with structure. I like to see what is happening on the bigger time frames, say like the 4 hour and the 1 hour and so forth like that. So on the 4 hour time frame, we know that the market was in a downtrend for a short period of time, overall uptrend on maybe the daily time frame, weekly time frame, whatever the case may be, right? Now here we were in a downtrend, right? And now market literally broke out of the trend right here, basically, because this was the last lower high that the market created, right? The last valid lower high that the market created. So we had a BOS here, so we broke this structure. So if it was just this alone, we could call this a complex pullback, because we did not break structure, so the market could always continue downtrend. But now we broke this structure, so we're looking for the market to give us some form of bullish move, right? So now over here on this leg, this here 1 hour time frame, we're seeing the market in an uptrend here, right? So up, higher highs, higher lows, right? So market created this higher low and went bearish, right, to create new structure. So it can be a new 4 hour structure because we broke 4 hour trend, or it can be a 1 hour structure where we retest and continue to the upside. But I was more figuring it was gonna push lower because we broke a 4 hour major lower high, right? So when that happens, we need to form new structure for the 4 hour time frame. And when I say new structure for the 4 hour time frame, I mean that if this is the last low and we are gonna go in an uptrend on the 4 hour time frame, we must create a higher low for that 4 hour time frame. So I am figuring market will most likely push from there to somewhere here, or further down, maybe here, and then push back up to create that new high on the 4 hour time frame. Now I saw this valid POI that we didn't test here, so I was figuring that market maybe pushed to the 50% of this leg here, right, and then retest this 5-minute POI and then push to the downside, right? But let's see what happens though. So if you guys notice here, I have bears still in control. So what this basically reminds me is that do not trade against the trend. So you know that on the 1 hour time frame, to see what the 1 hour time frame is doing, I normally go down to the 50-minute time frame to see the trend of the 1 hour time frame. And on the 50-minute time frame, we are creating lower highs and lower lows, which means that this is in a downtrend. So the only time I am gonna shift to the upside or start looking for buys on this 1 hour time frame is when the 50-minute time frame breaks structure, right? So right here I had a liquidity trap right before the POI. So let me drag back you guys memory. So this was the POI right here. We did not test the POI, so this created liquidity for my POI. So I have this as a liquidity inducement trap. Alright, back to the 15-minute time frame. So we want to see the market tap in our POI, and then we can go to lower time frame to look for that breaker structure, right? But bear in mind, if the higher time frame don't break structure, say the 15-minute time frame, we are not going to look for long buys, right? The higher time frame, the longer we look for buys, the longer we look for sells, right? Let's play this. Alright, so we tap into our POI. I go on a 1 minute time frame, right? So on the 1 minute time frame here, you can see the market creating lower highs and lower low, which means that this here is in a downtrend all the way to our POI, right? Now, when do we take a buy? Here, based on the fact that we cleared liquidity from this inducement trap, we are now in this POI, which means that the POI should be mitigated, right? So the only time we're going to take entries on this is when the 1 minute time frame breaks structure to the upside. But are we going to look for buys all the way up, or are we still going to have to wait on the 15-minute time frame to break structure? Yes, we have to wait for the 15-minute time frame to break structure, right? Which means that would give us a signal that we are going to have a longer bull move, right? Now here, let's see what happens if we're gonna get a breaker structure. So the market did break structure here, right? And this is an entry that I caught, so that's why I said this trade did not fail, right? It just didn't went back to the 5 minute POI that I thought it would, right? So we had this BOS, which means that momentum on the lower time frame has shifted to the upside, right? So how do I get my entry here? I don't see a order block and I don't see a inefficiency. No worries, right? Price always come back to discounted price, so I can take my entries anywhere within this area. And in this case, this wick here will be my entry, right? Remember, once you see a wick, so this wick cleared liquidity. Let me zoom in for you guys. So in my discounted price here, I see this long wick that cleared liquidity, mitigates something here, right? From this candle that broke structure, this momentum candle here that broke structure, right? So I can take my entries 50% off this wick, because this wick to me is an order block, right? This is an order block. Normally it has to be a sell to buy that created this wick, right? So my 50%. So my entry would be here. Long position tool, 50%. Stop loss maybe below this wick. I'm gonna put my stop loss here. Being that this is an order block right there. And alright, where do I take my entry on the 1 minute time frame? So on the 1 minute time frame here, I see this order block that broke structure. So this order block broke structure, everything, right? And then we have a inducement right here, right? So that is my area. So you don't see me putting my target all the way up here at this 5 minute POI, no, because the only way I'm going to take that long target is if the 15-minute time frame breaks structure. So I'll take profit here, and if the 15-minute time frame do break structure, I'll then wait for that retracement on that 15-minute time frame, and then I'll take another entry. But I am not gonna risk profits holding, right? Holding a trade, especially a 1 to 16 trade, right? Why would I hold a 1 to 16 trade for it to come back in negative? No, right? And the momentum on the higher time frame is not yet to the upside. All right, so we wouldn't get stopped out of this trade. And that is if you're using my broker. Right, this is if you're using my broker. So it should be here, the 50% right there, and stop loss below, right? So 1.4 pips stop loss, TP here, right? And if you're using XNES broker, then you would still be safe because it's a zero spread always on EURUSD. That is why I trade EURUSD, right? Spread wise, and EURUSD typically moves good. Alright, so this thing froze. Alright, good. So there it is, guys. So alright, so that was the buy, right? So that was the buy. That is 1 to 16, right? So if your account can actually manage that lot size that my FX book is going to tell you to use based on what percentage you're risking, then that would be a 1 to 16% of your account if you're risking 1%, right? Now let's get back to the 15-minute time frame. Notice the 15-minute time frame did not break structure. However, we broke back this structure, so we created a new low. We're creating a new low, right? So this is where I adjust to the market and adapt, right? This is where I adapt. I saw the market, so we're still continuing the bear move. So the bears are pretty strong, right? So the momentum that the market pushed down with right here, and it broke all my major POIs here, I know that the market will continue in this downtrend. So what I did, I looked for a POI, right? And here I have the POI right here. And how did I get this POI here? I saw the market literally, so money is being transferred. So we had this inefficiency here, and then I see this wick, right? This wick went to this inefficiency, which means that money have been transferred to this wick. So remember I told you guys that once you see a wick, right, looking like this, that retested some liquidity area, it collected money, because for this to happen it must be a buy to sell, which means that there must be an order block here, right? So what you can do is you can go down lower time frame to actually refine that entry, right? So this is the POI literally, guys. So this would be the POI right here. Aggressive move and sponsor candle that took liquidity. Alright, nice. So, and the market gave us a breaker structure here. Easy continuation trade. Right, and this is a trade that I actually caught. I'm going to show you guys the MT4 on my Instagram. So we had that breaker structure and we had this POI. So let's go on lower time frame to see what this looks like. So all right, so we still see this inefficiency area here, so we need to see what is here, right? So we have to go on a lower time frame. So this is what I am seeing on the 4-minute time frame, and this is looking good. 2 minutes. Alright, so basically the 4-minute and the 2-minute time frame is basically saying the same thing. Alright, so we're gonna work with this POI. So we collected money here, created order block here, market push and broke structure. Right, so back to the 5-minute time frame. Alright, so let's go on the 1 hour first. So if the market should actually continue down, where would we take profit? So not here, because all of this to me now is liquidity, right? So liquidity, and then we have this huge momentum candle that broke structure. So right here would be our sponsor candle. So let's zoom in on that area. So this area here, so we had this order block here, this inefficiency area. We had this wick came all the way down, collected liquidity, and then momentum candle. So there must be some sort of money that has been collected here to fuel the market to actually break structure and shift the market to the upside, right? So this here is my point of interest for my buy. All of this is just liquidity for me, so I would look to take profit all the way down here, and then I would look for a buy opportunity back to maybe this area at premium price to continue this downtrend on the higher time frame, right? So let's get back to the 15-minute time frame. So we have the breaker structure here, 5 minute. All right, so notice guys, notice the momentum that the market pushed down with, and notice how it is going back very correctively, right? Market came close to our POI and then pushed back down, so I would refer to this as my liquidity trap, right? Alright, so this basically created a order block, not a valid one to me, right? Too much wick right here, too much wick on this, so this is not a valid order block to me. So don't let this fool you guys, right? So this did not break a valid structure either, right? So look what the market did. The market came back, acted like it tested, but this to me is just liquidity. So again, a topic that we touched on in the psychology part of the course was FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. So you guys saw this and you saw market retested here. So you think that this is the actual move, and market's not gonna test your POI, so you probably take a forced entry here after this bear momentum, right? So if you did that, your stop loss would be pretty huge, right? To hold it all the way above here, which would be 20 something pips. So you probably force your stop loss maybe here above this order block, right? Or even somewhere here, right? You're forgetting about all the rules, because you still want to risk maybe 4% or 5%, well, I mean 5 pips, right? And 6 pips or whatever. So you try to enter here and put your stop loss here and hope the market continue down, right? So that is the fear of missing out. Guys, wait on your analysis, trust your analysis, right? So what this creates for me is liquidity. So I would never take an entry here, right? Because I'm still thinking about liquidity, and liquidity must be taken. Market move towards money, right? So my entry is still valid, right? As long as it don't break my entry, right, it is still valid for me. So right after that, you probably would have gotten stopped out by this week. If not, by that one, right? So market literally tapped in right here, 3.2 pip stop, and TP all the way down here, right? So notice how market clear liquidity. When market is clearing liquidity, they clear it aggressively, right? Because remember, this is actually money dumping into the market to take out liquidity, right? And then bear momentum follow right after. Market break structure. So once market break structure here, the market most time will retrace to maybe 90% or 80%, 76%, 75%, whatever case may be, back to premium price to get a retest. So your stop loss could have been at break even here. I actually got my entry from over here, right? But I know that this POI is likely to play, so my stop loss is not in profit until I see this as well, when the market shift back to the downside, right? And alright guys, so this is where market currently is today, right? So I'm waiting for the market to actually hit take profit, right? And then I'll be looking for the buy opportunity. So that is what I meant, guys, when I say adapt to the market. So even though we were looking buys here, don't marry it to one setup. If the market is showing you that the momentum is still to the downside, go with the momentum. As long as you see valid reason to take that entry with the momentum, take it, right? Don't sit and wait and maybe try to force a trade just because you have a different bias from what the market is doing, right? You cannot move the market, so just roll with the market, right? So I would have caught the buy though, right? So because it was valid, this was a nice buy, right? 1 to 17, people out there looking 1 to 3, 1 to 5, right? I got 1 to about 13 off this trade close. I'm good. You gave me that 13% of your account, right? And then I caught the sell by just adapting. And current, this is 1 to what? 1 to 27, right? I took some partials. I'm just waiting for it to take profit. Then I'm gonna look for the buy opportunity. Alright guys, so that's it guys for this breakdown. I hope you guys learned something new. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next breakdown or in the next group session.